What's up, 4TK gang? It's your girl Kay.
It's your boy Trey.
And we back with another one.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is some different type of content, y'all. So I made a post on Facebook asking about people who watch Fatal Attraction. Some people know it, some people don't. But I did get at least one response saying that, they'll be interested in the reaction video to Fatal Attraction episodes. So I was like, why not? I watch it. He watched it with me. So why not just give a reaction video? Like it was his idea. I ain't talk right.
Idea.
It was his idea. I'm really talking like that because I'm lit. But it was his idea. It was like we should start. Well, me. He said I should do reaction videos. But why not do it together? So we gonna be doing some reactions to this episode on Fatal Attraction. They have it on Tubi. They don't have all of them on there. So if y'all know network that has all the episodes for Fatal Attraction
that you can actually watch through, not like follow.
Not like, cause follow you pay for follow and then they only let you watch what came on as an episode that day or the week before. Like no. So
waste money.
Exactly. And it's like $25. Like what? No. So we gonna go to the website here. This is the episode right here. Say season 6. Season 6 episode
7. No.
607.
Yeah, episode 6.
Hey, they got that many episodes?
They got that, but
but this is right here. So we gonna go ahead and get into it. Ain't gonna waste no time.
These are no gang members. Forgive me now.
Now how we gonna start without us? We'll start without us. What's wrong with y'all? Go back.
Running back. No, you're sleeping good.
A beautiful young woman disappears without a trace.
It was an eye-opener. This is not a joke. It's real.
You don't just vanish off the face of the planet.
The ensuing investigation leads both police and her family down a dark and dangerous road. You do not know who these people are. These are no gang members.
If you give me $900 and I go get her, I will bring her back alive.
The case seems destined to remain unsolved until a surprise witness comes forward with a tale of forbidden desire and unspeakable depravity.
They didn't know she was there.
So then when they left, she's freaking out.
Kind of have an idea of what you might see, but it was shocking.
Her only mistake was just falling in love with Creed.
$900 to find her. $900. Okay.
Oh shit.
It's Friday, November 19th, 2010.
My bad, y'all. That was aggravating me with that.
Jacqueline Smith is in a panic as she's been desperately trying to locate her 21-year-old daughter, Jacqueline Miller, for several days.
Madonna, I'm so glad you're here. I still haven't heard anything from Jacqueline. Oh, this is so unlike her. I haven't spoken to her since Tuesday, not even a phone call.
Well, it's not like her to just wander away and never call and be gone for that long.
I just got that swoop. That swoop going, ain't it?
Is equally concerned about the welfare of her niece.
I kept calling her, kept texting her. I called all of her friends. They started calling around and texting, and we didn't hear anything.
As the women reach out to young Jacqueline's entire circle of friends for clues to where she might be, they become increasingly concerned. There's no sign of her anywhere, even at the beauty salon where she's employed.
Her supervisor
That look like a beauty supply store.
Jacqueline hadn't been to work.
Yeah.
It was very
Like a store, not a salon.
You know that been in the
because she
movie.
loved her job.
The two women immediately decide it's time to call the Memphis police and report young
Oh yeah,
Jacqueline
definitely in
missing.
the hood.
They tried to
Memphis.
make me wait. I'm like, no, I can't wait 24 more hours. She's missing, and she's been missing for a few days.
It's very common for adults in their 20s to go missing for a while, to disappear. But 99 times out of 100, they come back safe and sound.
You don't understand. That's not how my daughter is at all. I think you can see.
Shit, I be going missing a couple days.
They were
And I be back.
And they were able to get some help
ahead of the standard police timeline.
Sergeant Kathy Gooden, a missing persons investigator, is assigned to the case.
When's the last time you seen Jacqueline? I thought it was just my typical missing persons case, and I thought she was just gonna be gone for a couple of days and then return home.
But when Jacqueline's disappearance enters its third
I
day,
just said it.
Sergeant
She be
Gooden
gone
begins
for,
to think Jacqueline
we go
might
for a
be in
couple days
serious
and come
trouble.
back.
I called Jacqueline's supervisor, and he said that if she doesn't show up to get her paycheck on Saturday, then it will be a concern. She will not miss picking up her paycheck.
Me either.
They ain't gonna play about that bread.
Me
Boy.
either.
Get that check, boy. I know how to remember a couple days, but I be
Launch a missing persons investigation.
But to learn the truth about what happened to Jacqueline, investigators would have to rely on anonymous tipsters, terrified witnesses, anxious family members, and old-fashioned, hard-nosed detective work.
The whole thing was horrible, but something that people were very, very interested in. And I wanted to know what happened to them.
Jacqueline Miller was born on June 22nd, 1989.
Hey.
The only child of Jacqueline Smith.
She was a loving little girl. When she walked through the room, she likes the whole room.
She loved the color pink. Some of her friends started their college.
Oh, she giving Monica.
Every time when they
Try to look like Monica.
Mom child, she didn't have very many friends.
She wore glasses. She had the brightest beauty. Her friends used to mess with her and tease her and call her brunette.
But
Oh.
it all changed as Jacqueline entered her teen years and began spending time with her Aunt LaDonna.
She was my niece, but she became my baby. And we did everything together. My grandmother would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and get fully dressed, hair, makeup, jewelry. That was something she instilled in me as a child. And I did that with Jacqueline as a child.
That is so cute.
Jacqueline soon went from being a wallflower to a confident, beautiful young woman.
It was just like she went from Jackie with the glasses to just beautiful.
Becky with the good hair. No, she
I
went.
thought about doing something different with your hair. Like I was thinking, if you take the front turn, okay, and that's this. It's like where you going with this?
The time spent with her Aunt LaDonna cultivated the dream in Jacqueline of one day becoming a beautician, a vision she shared with her best friend and cousin, Janice Reed.
We had plans on making a career of doing hair.
They look like
And-
twins right there.
After graduating high school, Jacqueline and Janice took the first steps toward fulfilling their dream by enrolling in the New Wave Hair Academy. Jacqueline was so focused on making her dream come true that she rarely had time for dating.
She wasn't interested to guys. She always wanted to keep her head
Get
straight.
that money, baby.
And her career.
But that changed in May 2009 when Jacqueline met 22-year-old classmate Richard Dickerson.
They were taking a fine class together, with the same time, same module. You me together, you know, took to her personality. And she took the heat.
That looks amazing.
Thank you.
You want to be disappointed?
It's a hot.
Perfect.
I get you there. So bird.
Jackie like tall, neat, athletic young guys and could really fit into that category. He would also have to work, you know, I let her in the car and all of that. So I was thinking, okay, maybe he's a good one.
But after 6 months of going steady, Jacqueline wondered if she needed to broaden her dating horizons.
She never completely broke things off with Richard. She wanted things to be a little bit more casual. So she had the option of dating other people without too much drama. Honestly, she really didn't date anyone else, but she liked to have that door open.
Well, Richard wasn't crazy about this, but it wasn't like she was going out with every guy that had asked her out. So he put up with it, thinking she'd get it out of her system in time.
Richard and Jacqueline continued their casual arrangement throughout their time at New Wave Academy. After graduating near the top of her class, Jacqueline took a position at a salon where her styling skills garnered widespread acclaim.
Everyone in the city knew who Pinky was because they wanted Pinky to do their hair.
We were just so excited to very important about it.
But just when it seemed things couldn't be going better for Jacqueline, she disappeared. It's now been 4 days, and there's no sign of where she might be. As the hours pass, her family is beginning to fear the worst.
Jacqueline's family is really starting to get concerned as the odds of finding her safe and sound diminish. Everyone's asking the same question. Where did Jacqueline Miller go?
Sunday, November 21st, 2010. It's been 4 days since talented 21-year-old hairdresser
21?
Jacqueline Miller went missing. While the Memphis PD has moved quickly to open a
21.
missing persons investigation,
Dang.
That lady don't
100%
even go for
positive that
21.
something bad has happened to Jacqueline.
I have covered a lot of cases for Bailey's Ball, and they do say they would never do this, and they did do it. They just took off and didn't let their family know. She kind of a homebody, family oriented person, but it was not uncommon for her to spend a night out, but she would spend a night out sometime.
Even so, Police Sergeant Kathy Gooden is doing everything she can to pinpoint Jacqueline's whereabouts. One of her first moves is to contact Jacqueline's on-again, off-again boyfriend, Richard Dickerson.
Thanks for coming in to meet me.
Anything to help. Something's happened to her.
Richard Dickerson was very concerned when I spoke to him.
He's very distraught and tells Sergeant Gooden that he's been searching for Jacqueline on his own for several days. And he also said that he'd been searching alongside her family as well.
Richard was calling constantly and talking to her aunt Madonna. And he would call every day and say, you know, you heard from her. When's the last time you saw her?
Monday, well, actually Tuesday.
This nigga don't even know what that.
Jacqueline spent the night with him on Monday night. Tuesday, she got up earlier than usual. She took a
He
shower.
said actually Tuesday. He don't even know what that he said.
And she left for work Tuesday morning.
And that was the last time you saw her.
Yeah, she
The lady don't even believe him. Like, what the
Nah.
hell? How you don't know what day you see her?
She likes to keep it guessing.
Richard admitted his tendency to get clingy. And he also said Jackie would sometimes flake on him intentionally to try to get him to stop.
Was she seeing any other men that you know?
Not that I know of. I mean, Jacqueline was off a good game about dating other people, but her career is the most important thing. So I was everything.
Sergeant Gooden pushes Richard for any additional information and for signs he might not be telling the truth.
In a missing persons case, the spouse or significant other of the person missing is usually one of the first people investigated.
I did believe that Richard was sincere about Jacqueline being missing.
He was genuine. He acted like he wanted to try to help us and find out what was happening with Jacqueline and all that. During the course of the interview with Richard, he provided several possible alibis where he was dead. Of course, Sergeant Good.
They saying they really telling who did it.
Well, here's my card. Let me know if you hear anything else.
Maybe. Sometimes they say, sometimes they don't.
After speaking with Richard Dickerson, Sergeant Gooden
I need to laugh tonight.
if Jacqueline is the victim of a random crime.
Maybe she was driving down the street and got carjacked. Maybe she was at an ATM and got robbed. Yeah, the theories are in.
What is it?
Adding credence to this idea is the fact that the area between Richard's house and Jacqueline's work has a reputation as a fairly dangerous part of town.
Oh, she's staying in
Here's
the
what
hood.
happens over in that area. I used to work up there at night, and I didn't leave after there alone.
Unfortunately, there are people that are just crazy killers. There are people that are sexual predators and they will go and rape and leave their victim in another state.
I activated a state watch alert. I got the information on Jacqueline's vehicle, and I created a photo. Be on the lookout for Jacqueline's vehicle. I wanted to get this information to the media as soon as possible. In conjunction with the search efforts made by young Jacqueline's aunt and mother, it doesn't take long for the media blitz to yield a new lead. I got a call from an individual who
Ain't
said that several days after Jacqueline was reported missing, he actually saw her and a male in the Orange Mountain area. Orange Mountain?
Definitely in the hood.
It's a killer. In
She
the-
most definitely in the hood. She in the mound, but
It was a very high drug infested prostitution area.
The sighting suggests that Jacqueline is still alive, but what was she doing in the Orange Mound area?
Nothing made any sense. This woman was missing. Anything could have happened.
And who was the mystery man with whom she'd allegedly been spotted?
Police had to find this man. He was the key to finding Janet.
They be having horrible acting. Horrible acting sometimes.
503 rapes.
Hey, yo, Fatal Attraction. If y'all look for an actor, I'll be one of them actors.
The FBI as the third most.
Anybody can be one of their actors.
I'll be down. Just cut me the check.
Sobering
Cut
statistic
me a
which places
check.
it just behind Detroit, Michigan, and Oakland, California, on America's list of most violent metropolitan areas. Police in Memphis, Tennessee, are investigating the disappearance of 21-year-old beautician Jacqueline Miller.
Oh,
Gooden
my
has
bad.
just received an anonymous text regarding Jacqueline's whereabouts.
Hello. She was right in the middle of Orange Mountain, and a lot of drugs go through that area, a lot of problems go through that area.
Nobody could understand why she would be there and why she would be with some strange man.
You saw her yesterday in Orange Mountain. Are you sure it was Jacqueline?
She don't believe nobody.
Nah, but
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Hello? Hello?
But the tipster hangs up before he gives the police any really useful information beyond where the sighting took place
they
and
finna go to his
that
house.
believe that the man was a gang member.
The good news is, if the tip is accurate, that means there's a good chance Jacqueline's alive. The bad news is Orange Mountain is ripe. Prostitution, drugs, and gangs.
Sergeant Gooden follows up with her informants in the Orange Mound area, but none of them have any information about Jacqueline or the mystery man seen with her. But the sergeant has better luck when she circles back with LaDonna Garfield to make sure Jacqueline wasn't involved in any illicit
Look at her
activity.
pants up.
She was not
Got them boots on. The left the car boots on with them
a
pants.
troubled person.
But LaDonna believes it's possible Jacqueline's disappearance could be gang-related.
She was receiving phone calls from Jacqueline's friends, and some of the friends
Oh, that ain't supposed to be her.
that several
Cool.
gang members
The
may have
auntie?
been involved.
Oh,
in
but ain't supposed to be
Jacqueline's
dark skinned
disappearance.
lady.
Okay, did
You know
any of
that
her
the actors
friends
don't
give
never
you
match what the
names?
people really look
Gang
like.
members? Yes, we're gonna go meet with one right now. You're gonna meet with one of the gang members? Yeah, we were actually contacted by one of her friends that she had gone to high school with. He told me that he had been seeing her walk around in their neighborhood, which was very strange because that was something that Jacqueline was not into.
LaDonna explains she was told by Jacqueline's friend to meet him in person for more information and not to come empty-handed.
I want to go for it.
If you give me $900, I will give you. And I said, tell me where she is. Tell me,
Mm-mm.
he said, you can't go there because it's too dangerous. I will bring her back alive.
And I told Donald, look,
Nope.
let the police handle the investigation. You do not know who these people are. These are known gang members.
Why don't you let us handle this? Okay, but please don't do anything that could put Jacqueline at risk. I'm gonna see my niece again.
Jacqueline's aunt gives her the man's information, and Gooden arranges a meeting with his gang contacts for that afternoon.
Have you guys heard of Jacqueline Miller?
Yeah, little cute chick. Yeah, I seen her, with some friends of my cousin.
They seem at first to know some information about Jacqueline.
Yeah, that's the chick with the jeans on, you know, blue jeans. Yeah, she driving.
How many people?
Car, it's the, photo.
Okay, well, her family's
Oh my
looking for her.
God.
I mean, is there a reward or something?
But after interviewing the couple of them, I realized that they didn't know anything.
They're just trying to
about
get one up on them.
Turned
That's
out almost
it.
every detail these guys were telling police came right off the missing persons poster or was something they'd seen in the news. What she was wearing, what kind of car she was driving, everything.
These people,
They were
they ain't
basically
give a
trying to support
damn.
money from the family.
They just want some money.
$900.
They just
I
want
got an
some
idea.
money.
Why don't I arrest both of you for extortion and false information to police? How about that?
Right,
Oh,
right.
She be trying to help you out. Yeah, I mean, we do know people that know where she is.
The two men claim they know Jacqueline's boyfriend, but as they're describing him, it becomes clear they're not talking about Richard Dickerson.
Contrary to what Richard believes, there certainly is another love interest in his girlfriend's life. And that is Malik Davis.
Malik Davis was an old school friend of Jacqueline Miller's, and he bumped into her at the salon by accident. But when he sees how beautiful she's become over the years, he starts pursuing her romantically. Like
Typical
Richard,
nigga.
I knew that nigga was from what?
Typical nigga.
So physically, Malik was her type.
They started hanging out and he actually wanted things to get more serious, but again, Jacqueline wanted to keep things casual.
while the relationship may not have been serious, it was definitely hot and heavy.
This revelation leads Gooden and the Memphis police to wonder if Jacqueline's disappearance was somehow connected to her relationship with Malik Davis, or Richard Dickerson, or both.
While Richard Dickerson had been removed from police suspicion, he hadn't been cleared entirely. Is it possible he learned about Malik and then unleashed a jealous rage on the woman he loved?
Likewise, it's not unrealistic to assume that maybe Malik was unaware of her relationship with Richard, and that when he found out about it, he acted out in some violent way.
Malik. That same afternoon, Sergeant Gooden tracks down Malik Davis.
I understand that you and Jacqueline Miller were romantically involved.
I guess you could say that, yeah.
And when's the last time you spoke or saw her?
Tuesday. We went out for some drinks, had a pretty good time.
Everybody seen her.
I was actually supposed to get up with a Wednesday. I haven't heard from him.
Wednesday? Are you sure?
He agreed that yes, she was supposed to see me, but she was no call, no show. So he actually did not see Jacqueline.
This is notable because this is also the same day and time that she was supposed to meet up with Richard, but didn't make.
So now
Two
Sergeant
niggas in one
Gooden
day?
can't help but wonder, which one of these men did Jacqueline Miller really intend to see that night?
And you haven't spoken with her since?
No. You sure, right? I've been trying to call for a couple of days now.
Like Richard, Malik was incredibly cooperative with police. He seemed legitimately concerned.
But is it possible that one of these young men is lying to police?
Malik tells Gooden he was at home alone during the time period that police were questioning him about. But without a verifiable alibi, he seems like more of a viable suspect than Richard Dickerson did.
The only way to really vet Malik's location is to collect his cell phone information. It wouldn't tell police if he was with anyone, but it would certainly verify with whom he was communicating and where he was.
Police submit a warrant to obtain Malik's phone records. But while they wait for a judge to approve it, they get another anonymous tip. One that may point to a possibility beyond either of Jacqueline's known lovers.
Someone said they'd seen Jacqueline's car parked at an apartment complex about a mile from where she worked. Had she met someone new?
Will this be another dead end? Or will what police find completely alter the course of the investigation?
As a journalist, the question from that point is no longer where is she, but how did this happen?
3 niggas? 3? I ain't judging nobody but God.
6 days after 21-year-old Jacqueline Miller was reported missing, police in Memphis, Tennessee receive a tip that her car has been spotted parked in an apartment complex roughly a mile from the hair salon where she worked.
This looks like it.
When it backed into the parking space, it becomes just a nondescript vehicle with no unusual markings, and no one can read the license plate because it's backed up against a fence.
But when officers get a closer look at the tag, they can see it well enough to run a check on it. And it's indeed Jacqueline's car.
Dispatch, can you let Detective Gooden know that we've located the vehicle? The officers on the scene first theorized the car was parked there because it had been stolen during a robbery of some sort, but that was quickly thrown out.
But there's a purse in the back.
Why would the thief take the car and not the purse?
Nothing was taken off of this car, so it couldn't have been a carjacking.
If the vehicle wasn't stolen, why is it here? It is entirely possible that she started a new fling with someone in the area. The question is, who?
While officers pound the pavement in search of someone who might have seen Jacqueline, CSIs move her car away from the wall and begin the painstaking process of detailing Jacqueline's vehicle.
Crime scene investigators go to that car with a fine-tooth comb from outside to inside. Dusted it with fingerprints, tried to get any sort of evidence they possibly could out of that car.
We're getting ready to open it up now.
And when CSIs pop the trunk, They make a discovery that hits them like a punch to the gut.
Had
Oh
a
wow.
rope around her neck, clothes disheveled. She had bits of bruises on her arms, fingernails were broken. It was clear that there was a struggle.
The body is identified as that of Jacqueline Miller.
Hey, they just left her in the trunk.
I just feel
Wow.
Thank God my family was around to catch me. It was too much for me.
I broke down, I was hurt. I just couldn't believe that someone would do such a vicious act to a person.
I was devastated.
Dang, they ain't even trying to get rid of the body. They was like,
Jackie,
leave her in the trunk. Like,
not
what?
only was this her only daughter, it was her only child. It's a feeling that no one can understand unless you've been put in that predicament.
With the discovery of Jacqueline's body, Sergeant Kevin Lundy from the Homicide Bureau is assigned to the case.
It was shocking. I mean, you see this beautiful girl that's no longer with us. Obviously been placed there against her will.
The rope was tied around her neck. The ends were cut very short, which would indicate that it was cut after it was tied.
This suggested that the killer was clever. They knew the rope might contain their DNA, and they wanted to remove it.
It seems like a well orchestrated murder by someone who knew exactly what they were doing.
But for all their well-planned efforts to cover their tracks, the killer hasn't thought of everything.
It appeared that Jacqueline had a struggle with someone and her fingernails were broke, but what was left out.
Under her fingernails.
Collect that DNA from her fingernails.
There was also blood on the shirt as well as the panties that were found on the scene. Samples are sent to the crime lab for analysis. Meanwhile, Sergeant Lundy redoubles the canvassing efforts around the area where Jacqueline was found.
The hope is to find anyone who may have seen anything of interest.
The amped-up search pays off when Sergeant Lundy learns the apartment complex has a courtesy officer named Fred Anderson.
His job is to maintain security and look for anything out of the ordinary on the parking lot.
You ever own this vehicle that's running on?
I do. I saw it fully. Did. I sure did.
Security officer had noticed someone pulling in the apartment. He never had seen him before that day. And so this would call his attention.
Someone just saw.
Well, driver definitely was alone. It was a male.
Mr. Anderson gave a very detailed description of the person that got out of the car.
He was a tall guy, maybe 5'11", 6 feet, possibly. Pretty fit guy.
The description is one that doesn't
Richard?
exactly
I mean,
match
not Richard.
Richard Dickerson.
Yeah,
normally
yeah.
did.
Rich.
And unfortunately, there's no surveillance footage of the complex. So making an ID off the information that Anderson provides is pretty much impossible.
The uncertainty leaves police unsure which way to go next with the investigation. But a series of strange revelations will soon help them bring a cold-blooded killer to justice.
She was probably the day trying to scare him when he came in, confessing to him that he had killed Jacob.
Cell records, witness statements, everything backed up this bizarre story.
Wow.
Yeah, what?
After finding the body of 21-year-old Jacqueline Miller in the trunk of her car, Memphis police have begun piecing together the series of events that led to her murder.
It's clear that Jacqueline's murder was not a random act of violence. This was someone who
Bro did this in the daytime.
felt a great deal of
He
grief.
didn't give a.
I thought it was awesome.
He didn't care not one bit. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna just park this right here and walk away. Like nothing happened.
While Sergeant Kevin Lundy and his team are waiting on the results of crime scene DNA analysis, a judge has granted them access to Jacqueline's cell phone records, as well as those of Richard Dickerson and Malik Davis.
Richard's cell phone was off most of the day Wednesday, so it didn't seem like his cell phone records would be of much help.
The cell tower activity confirmed that Malik was essentially where he told police he was and never went anywhere near where the body was found.
But it's the activity of Jacqueline Miller's cell phone that sheds the most light on her whereabouts.
Jacqueline had actually called Richard several times during the day Wednesday, left a couple of voicemails about wanting to meet with him. That's made more interesting when police tracked her location.
She had actually gone to visit Richard at home on Wednesday afternoon, possibly to speak to him in person. We don't know if Richard was there, But we do know that shortly after arriving at his place, her phone was shut off.
It becomes even more suspicious when police note that Richard's cell phone is back on just a couple hours later. The first call he makes is to LaDonna Garfield asking if she's seen her niece.
First thing that police begin to think is maybe we skipped over the wrong person. Maybe we shouldn't have dismissed it.
With Richard Dickerson now the primary person of interest, police begin to seek out some of his friends for any new information.
Police start with the person closest to Richard, his best friend, Vincent Williams.
Vincent was Richard Dickerson's longtime friend. They confided in each other about just about everything.
Now, he's not of much help to police, but as they leave his house after questioning him.
No, he wasn't gonna say.
By his girlfriend.
He wasn't gonna say nothing.
The woman's name is Brittany Pearson, and what she tells police breaks the case wide open.
This is gonna sound really, really weird, but I was at Vincent's house and then Richard came.
She was hiding under the bed. She was going to surprise your boyfriend.
Oh, this is the best friend girl. I thought that they was okay.
Her boyfriend was Richard Dickerson.
What you do, bro? I like it. I killed Jackie.
Did what? I killed Jackie. She heard Richard crying and saying he didn't mean to do it. He went into great detail. Straight and put her in the fallen over.
What'd you do with the car? I dumped it off at East Smith, just at the apartment complex that Joey used to stay. Oh, man.
She shot.
You got a card? Oh, wow. That's
They
so
didn't know she
stupid.
was there. So then when they left, she's freaking out. Brittany hightailed it out of that apartment. She didn't want them to know because she was under that bed.
Yeah.
Right, right.
I didn't know what to do. I thought that if I said something that he would kill me too. So I waited 3 days and then called the police. Yes, I made the phone call anonymously.
She went to a payphone outside of her neighborhood, dressed in different clothing. And she called their hotline before he called to make a tip and told them what she had heard.
Putting two and two together, investigators realized it was Brittany Pearson who called with that anonymous tip about Jacqueline's car being parked at the apartments. After speaking with Brittany, Sergeant Lundy obtains a search warrant for Richard Dickerson's home. While executing that warrant, they make a significant discovery in his tool shed of all places.
From a human eye, it appeared to be the same rope that was also around Jacqueline's neck.
So they take that rope and they submit it to the crime lab to be compared to the rope that was found around Jacqueline's neck.
After delivering the rope to the crime lab, Sergeant Lundy brings Richard Dickerson in for a second interview.
First, he was genuine. He acted like he wanted to try to help us and find out what was happening with Jacqueline.
Thank you for coming in and talking to us. No, I'll do anything to help find out who did this.
Once we got
Let
Richard
me
outside,
tell you.
he was trying to make an alibi of what had happened. So we started
That nigga
presenting
done
inconsistent
cocaine
doing
tripping, boy.
the stories.
States that Sergeant Goodman report the last time we saw Jack was.
Especially in Memphis, them niggas.
Yeah, I took a shower together and then I went to the store. When I got back, she was gone. It's not what it says here.
It's clear to Sergeant Lundy that Richard Dickerson is not being entirely
How
forthcoming.
you gonna forget your
But
own
without
story?
concrete
Like,
evidence tying to Jacqueline's murder, they can file no formal charges.
We didn't have the evidence at that time to prove that Richard killed Jacqueline Miller.
What detectives can do is keep Dickerson on a 48-hour administrative hold while the inconsistencies in his story are examined more fully.
Stand up for the police.
We sent several investigators, but there's no video, no one ever saw him there, so clearly he was lying.
Making matters worse for Richard, while they process him to be placed in a holding cell, police find something unusual.
Person from the jail found a note in his shoe.
The note was sort of a cheat sheet for what he was going to tell the police.
Basically, he wrote out a plan of how he was gonna have alibis to
How
cover what he did.
stupid
They
can
had
you
to
be?
what I'm gonna say.
Armed with this information,
Is
detectives interview Richard for a third and hopefully
you're a
final
dumb
time.
criminal. Definitely. What the fuck?
Looks to me like a list of alibis.
Out of the clear blue, he jumps up and grabs that note and starts lifting it to shreds.
Now you got nothing, so you got denied.
Still have the copy.
Dumbass. Dumbass, boy. Dumbass, boy. You retarded as bitch.
Guilty right there.
That will give prosecutors the ammunition they need to formally charge him with murder.
What the word?
While there was no DNA recovered from the robe found inside Dickerson's house.
What made him think that was gonna work? Right.
DNA profile from the robe found around Jacqueline.
I nigga watch too
And
many
that was
movies,
consistent
boy.
He ain't watched enough movies to know what police be doing. Like,
But when police received the final report on the DNA recovered from the clothing Jacqueline was wearing at the time she died, they hit pay dirt. The blood that was found in the hands of Jacqueline was not hers, but Richard's.
That's how they were able to tie.
I say her pants or her penis.
On November 26,
Oh, pants,
2010, 9 days after Jacqueline Miller first disappeared, police charged Richard Dickerson with first-degree murder. But prosecutors know the case is anything but a slam dunk. And as the case heads to trial, a shocking revelation about Jacqueline's love life threatens to derail the entire proceeding.
Jackie was kind of quiet about the fact, but sometimes she would come home and visit with her.
I'm like, Jackie, why are you still hanging out with me?
Jackie.
She's like, 'cause I love him. He told her that he was gonna change. That's what she believed.
Well, we know who did it.
For a lot of women, they want love. They want someone who's going to go and sweep them off their feet. They look for tall, dark, and handsome. No one says tall, dark, handsome, and violent. We say to ourselves.
Yeah, auntie, that's the way to put it.
It can surprise you.
In November 2010, prosecutors in Memphis, Tennessee have charged Richard Dickerson with the brutal murder of his on-again, off-again girlfriend, Jacqueline Miller.
Between hard forensic evidence, the cell records that she found on Richard and witness testimony, everyone felt this was going to be a really strong case. Still, it wasn't without its challenges.
Nobody can place him at the car at the time of the crime. The timeline is murky, plus juries can be pretty unpredictable.
As the trial date approaches, prosecutors dig into Richard and Jacqueline's relationship, hoping to find further proof of Richard's proclivity for violence.
Jacqueline was so beautiful and probably garnered a lot of attention, and I don't think Richard really knew how to take all of that.
He was controlling. He didn't really want her to do anything with her friends. He didn't want her to have male friends.
Thank you, son. You, I like it. What you doing out here?
Yes.
What are you doing? What the hell are you doing talking to him?
You're from high school.
I don't like him.
What's your problem?
That nigga's got a little bit sweet, man. Yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
Go around. You want him yourself?
One such case.
Is that what it is, Boo?
Relative's house, when Jacqueline tried breaking up with Richard. She proceeded to walk up the driveway and Richard grabbed her by the neck and like choked her down to the ground.
I told you not to turn your back on me.
Walking away. What do you mean?
Jacqueline runs into the house, but she kept that incident, along with many others like it, a secret from all but a few close friends.
I'm like, Jackie, why are you still hanging out with him? She's like, 'cause I love him. You know, this is how people get killed. For that, she said he is dangerous, but I'm gonna be okay.
On July 20th, 2012, in a Shelby County courtroom, the state of Tennessee versus Richard Dickerson begins. Prosecutors open by presenting accounts of the physical abuse Jacqueline suffered at Richard's hands. Then, step by step, they spell out what they believe happened the day Jacqueline was murdered.
The coroner was able to determine that she had been killed sometime on Wednesday the 17th, the same time she was set to visit both Richard Dickerson and Malik Davis. Prosecutors felt she was planning to eventually see Davis and wanted to end her relationship with Dickerson first.
She had driven her car to his house, parked out in front.
See, that's why people break up through text messages. He tried to get killed, trying to break up with somebody.
Breaking it off with that. And that he snapped and told her, if I can't have you, no one else is gonna have you.
she was going to leave him, and he's going, oh, no, you're not. I'm going to kill you rather than let you leave. He gets a rope, he puts it around her neck, tight enough, and ties it so that she's not going to live. And then he put the body in the trunk and disposed of it. Then he drives it to an apartment complex on the other side of town. And then he has the thought, oh, they can see her license plate. So he turns around and goes back to the car, pulls it out, backs it up close to the fence.
Thought he was smart, right?
He said that Mr. Anderson.
When it's their turn, Bridget's defense team doesn't dispute the fact that their client killed Jacqueline Miller.
You can't.
They think that their claim spin on why he
You
did it.
can't.
His defense was, I didn't mean to kill her. I didn't do this on purpose. I just snapped. And she ended up dying.
To support their claim, they
Yeah.
called Bridget
What a
himself
way
to
to
the
put
witness
it.
stand.
He said Jacqueline was a very violent person and that she would beat him up all the time.
What they
And
all say.
he said she had come over to the house to talk about their relationship and she told him that she wanted to break up with them. He said they argued about that and she started to beat him up again.
Basically, he was trying to make it seem like it was self-defense.
Tough story for a guy who was 6'5", 205
Exactly.
to sell by a woman who's 5'5" and 120 pounds to try and hurt him because physically he can overpower her quite easily.
Richard claimed that he loved her and they was just having a misunderstanding, but we all knew different.
Apparently, so does the jury. Sort of.
Sort
They
of.
find Richard Dickerson guilty of the lesser charge
What,
of
manslaughter?
second-degree murder.
Oh, second
When
degree.
I heard the verdict, I was very upset. It was not what I expected.
Second degree murder charge was just not right. It should have been first degree because I believe it was premeditated.
The judge sentences Richard to 25 years in prison without the possibility of parole.
25.
Only the
That's it.
strictest sentence the charge is allowed. But for Jacqueline's family, it's still not enough.
Motherfucker.
You taking a life.
Dang, they want to show what he look like.
25 years is short compared to I have a lifetime of dreams with her.
He's probably going to get out when he's at 50. And I can
Definitely.
understand why they're unhappy with that. But I understand how juries think too. And that is a heat of passion crime. And you obviously have a passionate situation when you have people breaking up.
He didn't only just take away a person, he changed, he also everyone's lives, the family, friends, children, everyone.
She had dreams and goals and she knew what she wanted to do and he took her away from us.
Abuse is never okay. If you or someone you love is in an abusive relationship, there is help available. Call the domestic violence hotline at 1-800.
Okay. What do you rate that?
I rate that one about like a 9.
A 9? A 9?
I fuck with it.
Nah, I rate that. Compared to what we've been watching lately, that one was like mediocre. Cause the other ones be way more,
Yeah.
you know, it be twists and turns, and they basically told us in the beginning who it was. So there really wasn't much of a build up type of thing, you know.
It's just the story with old girl.
Yeah, that's the only thing that was interesting
That would
about
make
it.
me like,
That was the only thing that was really twisting
I want
about
they
it.
take her to the stand.
Like, did she testify? I don't know. Maybe not. Speaking for that. But I rate that about a 7. Maybe. It ain't that juicy to me. It's not compared to the other ones. They had people date multiple people married to that person, still being with that one that deep, you know. So that one was okay. I feel like he talked his way out of that, to be honest. It's like, oh, I was mad, yada yada yada. But yeah. So that's gonna be the end of the video, y'all. If y'all like this, get us how many likes?
Good, about 250.
50 likes, and we will drop another reaction video to a Fatal Attraction. And we out, y'all. Peace.